Hey, it's Patrick Grosser with the 513 Flat Fee Real Estate Group at Fathom Realty. You may have heard about our premium flat fee listings through a postcard in your mailbox recently. We'll talk more about those in just a second, but first we're going to look at the Cincinnati real estate market news for 2023 year-to-date and compare that to 2022 year-to-date. First of all, new listings are down 22%, closings are down 30%, average sale price is up over 5%, average days on market right now is at 21 days. Total inventory is at 80 days, and right now active inventory is at 44 days. It is still a seller's market, but not as hot as it was last year. So if you want to sell your home quickly for top dollar, you need a more sophisticated marketing approach, but you don't have to pay a 6% commission to get that because it comes standard with our premium flat fee listings. Visit our site at 513flatfee.com to learn more about our service and to find out how you can net the most money when you sell your home. If you've been shopping for a home for a while, especially if you started the last couple of years, you're well aware that interest rates are much higher than they used to be. Right now, they're right around as an average 7.5%. Of course, you can do better or worse than that depending on your credit worthiness and how much you're able to shop around to find a better deal. That has resulted in less activity overall in the market. Fewer renters are coming to buy because, of course, they don't want to deal with higher interest rates. It's less affordable for them on a monthly payment basis when the interest rates are higher. And also current homeowners who want to upgrade or downgrade, maybe downsize their home, they don't want to part with that 3 to 4% interest rate that they have on their current mortgage, or maybe theirs is already paid off and they don't want to pay 7.5% interest going forward. So it seems like, at least on the surface, it makes sense to wait until rates go down later and then buy then. But the problem with that is, and I usually don't give advice this pointedly, but if you're thinking about buying a home, if you have a housing need or a strong desire to upsize or downsize, I recommend doing that move as soon as you possibly can, buying right now if you possibly can. I don't recommend doing that just because of the market conditions if you're not ready to move. But if you have a strong need or desire to change where you're living, to make a move, I strongly recommend making a home purchase as soon as possible, even considering the higher interest rates. That might make your monthly payment less affordable. You might have to buy a less house or put more cash down in order to make that work on a monthly budget basis. But if you plan for the worst and hope for the best, we do know that most experts, if not all experts at this point, with rare exception, are predicting that interest rates are going to go down the end of this year and throughout next year. And if you're in a fixed rate mortgage like you should be, then your rate obviously can't go up in the case that rates go up, but you can refinance later to a lower rate to make it more affordable for you. The biggest disadvantage to waiting for lower interest rates in order to buy a home is that you're not going to be the only one who's doing that. That has become rather conventional wisdom among buyers for some reason, maybe because they're just kind of scratching the surface. They're saying rates are high, it's expensive, I'll wait for it to be less expensive. Well, if you take a step back and you think about it, everyone's going to be doing that, or almost everyone's going to have that same mentality. And if everyone's thinking that, that means a lot of people who want to buy a home are going to wait until rates go down, and that means there's going to be a lot more buyers coming to market, which means as a buyer, if you're waiting until then, you're going to be competing with a lot more buyers for the same amount of listings. Sure, there will be some homeowners that put their house on the market because now they're going to make their move to buy, so there will be a little bit of inventory, but there's going to be a lot of renters that have been on the sidelines, a lot of folks that already don't have to sell their house until later that are going to buy first, that are going to rush to market when rates go down because they've been waiting on the sidelines with these higher interest rates. And when it goes down to whatever that magic number is for them in their head, they're going to rush to market. We're going to see those bidding wars like we've been seeing the last couple of years. We're going to see huge price increases like we saw in 2021 and 2022, unlike how it's been more moderate here in 2023. So again, if you have a strong need or desire to make a move, I recommend not waiting for lower interest rates because you're going to have increased competition from other buyers, which is going to force prices up, which is of course the whole point of you waiting until later to buy a home is because it's less affordable right now than it was a couple of years ago, but it's going to get worse because we have low inventory and we don't have that strong of demand right now because of the rates. But when the rates go down, demand is going to increase and supply is not going to increase, inventory is not going to increase at that same pace. Every situation is going to be different. I recommend talking with a financial advisor or even a mortgage loan officer to kind of look at your options. It's also going to be a personal choice. How much risk do you want to take and what kind of a house do you want to buy and can you afford it now? Is your situation going to be better in the future in terms of income and credit anyway? But if you have questions about that, if you want to be referred to somebody that we trust here in terms of a mortgage loan officer, just let us know. Now, if you're thinking about selling your home right now, we've already talked about the numbers and how it's not as hot a market as it was last year or even earlier this year. We're seeing inventory going up. We have 80 days of total inventory, which are active, pending, and coming soon. And then the active is actually at 44 days, which is the active and coming soon inventory. It's not very high, relatively speaking, historically speaking, but it is quite a bit higher than it was earlier this year. That 44 days of active inventory is the highest we've seen all year. However, I wouldn't be alarmed by that because typically this time of year in the fall, we do have more inventory. Some of those listings are ones that weren't able to sell during the summer. As I've mentioned before, we had the MLS go down for a couple of weeks, so that certainly delayed some of those homes selling as well because they couldn't market for a couple of weeks. And the other reason we tend to have more inventory on the market in the fall and the winter is we simply have fewer buyers shopping. A lot of buyers have school-age children and would rather move during the summer when it's not disrupting the school year. And it's also just warmer and easier to make a move than it is in the colder months. So typically we see higher inventory in the fall and winter. We are seeing that right now. I think the other factor there as well is higher interest rates. A lot of buyers, as we've mentioned here earlier, are waiting until interest rates go down. You've already heard my 2 cents on that. But if you're selling your home, if you're not buying, you've already got that figured out and you're just selling, just be aware that the days on market are a little bit longer than they were before. We're going to have a more sophisticated approach in order to sell your home as quickly as possible for as much money as possible. So I recommend you don't go cheap on the marketing, on the photos, on the videos, on the agent you're choosing. You need an expert negotiator as well to get the best price and terms for the sale of your home because it's not as easy as it was the last couple of years to simply put the listing out there for everybody to see and just wait for multiple offers to come in. We don't always have that situation in every circumstance if we don't do the pricing and the marketing properly. And if we don't leverage the interest that we have in negotiations, you may not end up with the results that you want. So as a home seller, you just need to be more careful with your approach and more careful with the agent that you choose to help you sell your home. If you have any real estate questions, whether you're buying or selling, or maybe you're just curious about the data, how it works and what it means, just trying to wrap your head around that, feel free to reach out to us. The best way to do that is to visit our website at 513flatfee.com. Scroll through the information, learn a little bit more about what we do. There's a couple options there to click a link to schedule a call. We'd be happy to set aside some time to assess your needs, look at your goals, help you to understand how you get from point A to point B and how we might be able to help you to achieve those real estate goals. I'm Patrick Grosser with the 513 Flat Fee Real Estate Group at Fathom Realty.